So the thing with Becca Scoops, it was never, no matter what people think, it was never personal. In my opinion, I think that as a creator, it is your responsibility to be transparent with your followers, especially if the topic that you're going to be discussing, especially if the topic that you're going to be discussing is one that involves real people, that can influence real opinions and can alter people's lives. It really can. And, 1 second. Like, for me, everybody is like, oh, you did it just because of Gypsy. No, people might still believe that, and that's fine. You can. I value integrity, and I value realness, and sorry. And when I was listening to, because I really want to I want to go over this with y'all. And y'all don't need to, I don't want this to be a fight, I promise. Like, I'm going to move on after I say this. I really want to say this. Maybe getting to know me a little bit better over the last couple of days, maybe y'all could just hear me a little bit better now. So, for me, when I listened to a podcast that Becca did with Case Study, I heard the reason why she started covering Gypsy. She said it was because she hated her. And I thought that was so, like, it just wasn't a good enough answer for me. Can you hear me? Okay. Okay. It wasn't a good enough answer for me. And now, if this could have been about anybody, this could have been about fucking Joe Down, anybody. It happened to be about Gypsy, okay? And yeah, it just really rubbed me the wrong way. And then I also, going through content and going through hers and everybody, anybody's that I came across. One thing with Becca, and like, again, y'all, I do not care if you support Becca, that's fine. But when I went through her videos and I would compare them to things, I was constantly seeing her misquote things, and add things to quotes that does change a narrative. Like, if I'm gonna say something, whether it's gonna be good, bad, and indifferent, the truth is the truth, and that rubbed me the wrong way. But then, come on, Jax. Okay, so about her being a nurse. Okay, so here's the thing. This is what everybody needs to understand. So the reason Becca didn't just come on the internet and say, hey, my name's Becca Scoops, and I'm just going to do content on Gypsy. Okay? She said, I'm Becca Scoops, a retired, and she does in her, and actually in the description, until I called her out, in the description of her YouTube videos, it literally said, I'm a psych nurse. It didn't even say retired or former. I know in her video she would say former, but in her description it said that. So, okay, here's the thing. You're allowed to say former nurse. Say if you're talking to another nurse and you're like, yeah, I'm a nurse. Oh, I used to be a former nurse. It's in passing. The conversation is different. If you're using it as a credential, as a way to influence an audience, it actually is illegal. Did I report her to the nursing board? No, because you actually can. Even if someone's revoked, you can still do that because they can still be fined for it. I didn't do that. It wasn't about me getting her in trouble. It was about being transparent. Since she wasn't transparent, I wanted to be transparent because I think that people should, this is real people, y'all. Like, Gypsy's a real person. Nick's a real person. Dee Dee's was a real person. Okay? So that's what it was about for me. It wasn't about getting her in trouble. Like, I could have reported her. I didn't. Hold on. But, so anyways, it is illegal. So when I was looking in and actually I didn't even, for the longest, all that stuff that I put out in that video, that video was amazing. Like, I was proud of it. We did it as a team. I put it together, but we found that information pretty much in one night. And it was because of Fancy. Fancy had said, her name on a live, because I guess her and Becca were going to be working together. And what I always found strange was because the name that Becca gave Fancy was actually her ex-husband's widow's name. which is till this day, it's really weird that she did that. I don't know. But anyway, so when we looked up her, we realized that that was not her, that that was the widow. And that's how we found back. And then it just unfolded from there. And the reason it was important for me to tell, and like, sadly, most people didn't take it this way. And that's why sometimes I always tell Gypsy, I mean, I love Gypsy. I don't regret being her friend, obviously. But sometimes I'm like, man, I feel like me being your friend hindered me from being able to reach people, because that was like, even though that should be something that like, oh, she probably knows a lot because she's a friend, but that's just not how it worked out, you know? But for me, genuinely, y'all, this is what I was trying to do. I wanted everyone to know that what the truth was, because at the end of the day, I'm sorry, I'm going over because I'm trying to watch Jackson do this. I'm going back to the whole point of like being transparent. So the reason people listen to Becca, you have to think, anybody in here who like started following Becca, what drew you to her? The fact that she said she was a retired nurse, and I mean that she was a former nurse, retired, whatever, and that her husband was a retired detective with connections with the Greene County Sheriff's Department. Yeah, obviously you're like, oh, I'm going to listen to her because, I mean, she's going to talk about the case and the medical stuff. And they both, I mean, she has her husband who's a detective that is connected with the person who is over this case, which is also a lie. It's a lie. And then she's a nurse. She has credentials. So you're being influenced not by the content right away, but by the person's description of who they are. It set her apart. Exactly. It set her apart from other content creators. And for me, I wanted, like, that was important for me. Like, y'all, okay, so I need y'all to, when y'all are looking at her content, it has always been like this for me through any kind of Gypsy content. Watch what you want. But when you watch it, look for the truth and look at the content itself. If that person doesn't have credentials, obviously. And for Becca, like, I'm sorry, but if you're out of nursing for 30 years, you don't have credentials. When it comes to medicine, it is you are constantly learning. You're constantly having to take tests and renew your license. And it's always, what's the word I'm thinking of? Progressing, developing, enhancing. That's not the word I'm thinking of. Advancing, I'm sorry. It's always advancing. So no, it's absolutely wrong that she has credentials, because she doesn't. And then on top of that, she was not a psych nurse. That's a fact. And she used that also because of the things that people say, you know, the very psychological point of this case. And to me, it was manipulative. You know, when I came on here, you know what I said? Nothing. I just said, this is what I learned about this woman named Fancy. And I spoke about it. I didn't say, oh, you know, I have a background in PI. I have a background in this. Oh, I know Fancy through this avenue. Oh, I know No, I just was like, all I can do, I can't give y'all any credentials, but what I can do is give y'all the proof that is making these words come out of my mouth. You know, does that make sense? Like, that's all I can give you. And that should actually be enough. That should be enough. That should be what you want, even with somebody with credentials. But because Becca sold people with that lie, this is not me saying that you can't support her. I don't care. I don't care at this point. But because she sold people with that lie, people didn't pay attention to her content the way they would anyone else's. Does that make sense? They're looking at it as like, she's a professional. I'm just going to hear her speak and I'm just going to take it as truth. And I watch people do that. And I'm just like, it's not, to me, it's manipulative. It's manipulative to her followers. To me, it's an insult. I'm not saying that was the purpose behind it, but it's not malicious, but it's an insult. Like, to think that she could just she could say whatever she wants. Even who got like this? Nina became like this without the credentials. Nina grew an audience and convinced her people. I mean, they would believe anything. Now it's not like that as much. Like, you know, her audience is not as big anymore. And I'm not shading her. I'm just speaking. We're going into the past for a second, okay? It might not sway you, but it does a lot of people, though. But like for Nina, like, I mean, just a month ago was saying like, y'all know me. There ain't nothing that I have ever said that it didn't come out to be true. Yeah. And people are like, yeah, Nina, yeah. I'm like, of course, I'm not going to make a video about it. Like, whatever. But, like, that's actually not true. Remember, Ken and Gypsy never broke up? And she bragged about the $6,000 she made off of that. If y'all notice, I'm one of the only content creators in the Gypverse that doesn't battle, that doesn't ask for gifts, that doesn't, you get what I'm saying? That doesn't brag about how much money they made off a video. And I've just always tried to be, I'm not saying there's no other content creators that are genuine, even ones that battle. I'm not saying they're not genuine. I'm just pointing out facts, y'all. I'm just trying to be real with y'all. And it would sway many people. Yeah, exactly. They're the most trusted. Exactly. And, oops. And, funny. And it's frustrating to see people in these lives, like, because this is the thing, y'all. This was a case that was very easily, like, pulled at people's heartstrings. You have people that approach Gypsy that, like, like, hear her story and they believe it and they, like, pulled on the heartstrings from her abuse. And then you have people that either are autistic or have family members who are, or know someone they love that, and then so you get pulled from that way. So a lot of people came into this community, sad to say it, but with a plan and ready to go. A plan to exploit Nick, which to me is really sad, and pull on the heartstrings of so many people. And I genuinely, every time I ever tried to expose someone, it truly was never about Gypsy fully. Of course, like, I'm trying to speak her truth that I believe is the truth. So of course it's defending her, but it was for the people. Like, because I don't even look at myself as, like, this big content creator. I think of myself as one of the people in a way, if that makes sense, Like, and I would hate to feel like, I would hate to be manipulated or blindsided or, like, I don't know. I just look at it from my, like, if I was in those people's shoes, like, I would want to know this. I would want to know if this person had been honest with me. And that's really what it was with Becca Scoops. And I hate that. The thing that sucks is that she went from that type of manipulation to emotional manipulation by going on Morbid's Live and crying about something that was already on her public page that I never brought up. She did, and she did this whole thing where she's like, she lied about, like this whole, y'all, she was on gang websites, like websites called, like, gangmembers.com, like as of, like, 2 years ago, like, not giving a fuck what she said. Like, she was not scared for her life. And, like, she went on Morbid's Live and put on this whole show and made it seem like I put her in danger. And that wasn't true. Like, on her Twitter, which has, like, 10,000 followers, her her pinned video is about her ex-husband who was unalived by a gang member. Like, so she was trying to say, like, that me bringing that to the light would put her in danger. And that became, so not only did she manipulate her credentials and her expertise and, like, build an audience off of that, but she then, when it was exposed, manipulated the same audience emotionally. Yeah, some of them weren't. But does that make sense? I'm not trying to, if you like Becca, I'm not trying to get y'all to not like her. I'm trying to get y'all to see it from why I did what I did and what happened and what the things that unraveled after that. Becca's husband is literally a retired detective. You don't think if I did anything illegal that you don't think she would have done something or he would have done something? I never did anything illegal, y'all. She would have taken measures. She would have done something. It's all public, and it's important that if you're presenting yourself as someone who was a nurse, that you be honest about it. And then when it gets exposed, you shouldn't lie about, like, you being in danger because of it. Like, that really bothered me. And it really bothered me that she used her ex-husband's widow's name. Like, I think that's strange. But anyways, so there's that. Just so y'all can understand, maybe a little, like, take a step back, look at me like it's just Bree talking to y'all, trying to get y'all to understand. Y'all may not still agree with me, and that's fine. We ain't got to fight about it. I'm just wanted to explain that again because so many people just closed me off at that time and did not care to hear me, and it sucks because, like, all I've ever really cared about is people in general And I hate, because there's some content creators, none that I've even mentioned. There are some that I see, like the blatant, like stuff that I know that y'all wouldn't even probably follow. And I see their followers just like, I mean, eating it up. And I see them spending so much of their time with these people, like so much, like their time, their money, their energy, their heart. These people are so passionate. And I'm like, and these people are so, they don't give a single fuck. Like, I could probably name every single, like, okay, I can probably name every single person that is a, like, consistent supporter of mine. I swear, I bet I can name every single one of them. I bet almost no other creator can do that. I'm just being real. Not saying they should have to do that. You should never feel like you have to. But it's just going to show you like how, like on the personal, like transparent level, like the difference, like in what this was for me and what this was for other people. Like I can literally name. Now it might take me a second. I might forget some in the moment, but I'll probably will remember eventually. Like I will know every single one. Every single one. I don't care if that's 100, 200, or 40 of them. I can name every single person. Every single fucking one. And it's because this has been just something different for me. It wasn't about clout. It wasn't about money. It wasn't about anything but speaking what I believe. Now, y'all don't have to agree with me, but it's about what I believe. You know what I mean? Yeah, no. Morbid, man. I'm just trying to think that I feel like Morbid now, is Morbid a saint? No. But he clearly, and at least he doesn't hide. Like, I mean, I think he said that in one of his last lives. I mean, he's very straightforward about like, it's hang it up type of attitude, you know, like, and I can respect that. Like, it's over with, move on. And I'm also not mad if you don't want to move on. It doesn't matter, y'all. There's people that talk about cases 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 years after it's over. Nothing wrong with talking about a case. I think it's when they bring it so close to real life. And I think that's what, if you think about it, like, the community, like, Gypsy has been very, like, it's not as big as people think it is. It's big, but it's not. It's such a small part of the internet. And because, let's see, like, so I happen to be friends with Gypsy, and I'm a part of that community. So that, it's almost like y'all have been, most people in here have been in lives that Gypsy are in. In most cases, you don't see these people, like, in real life moments. Like, you don't see these people in lives with you. They are, you're able to really, like, separate them. You know, does that make sense? It's just so, like, I don't know. She's so much more present. That's why I think it feels more real for some people. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it's different than someone who's in like prison or like talking about, let's say, like Ed Gein. Say if we started talking about him, I doubt there would be the type of like hate that was spread like against people this side, that side, like, you know, because some people do have a lot of empathy for him, some people don't, type of deal. They be there for each other. Not everyone needs to move. Yeah, but like it wouldn't be like, whereas Gypsy's like present, basically, you know, like she is sometimes literally in people's lives. I mean, or she's in here. She'll comment on a creator that has 200 followers, you know, and they're like, oh my god, you know. So it's just, I think this just, you know, everybody says like things like this happen in every case, but it does, but it doesn't. Like, I don't think there'll be anything like this probably in our lifetime, because it does involve someone who is the center of the case being out of prison, you know? And usually that person that we're talking about, that's one of the perpetrators is not out of prison, you know? They're in, like, so it's just different. It's so different, but the case it's just so gray. It's so much gray. And that's the reason that I'm able to truly be at peace with being able to like be in spaces with people that don't agree with me, because at the end of the day, there's so many layers of gray in this case that like not everyone's going to be able to see what every single person sees, you know? There's just that much to it. There's probably parts of this case that y'all that disagree with y'all that really, if I wasn't friends with Gypsy, maybe I would be able to see it differently. I don't know, you know, vice versa. So yeah, but anyways, there's that.